Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable President, Malcolm X said, "I'm for the truth, no matter who tells it." So I'm going to tell the truth today. You invoked Mandela Day, whose theme is, "It's still in our hands to combat poverty and inequality." My president wrote an opinion piece today entitled, "Finding Mandela's Footsteps." Now let me look at some of your footsteps. You started this term with an increase in your cabinet from 66 to 75, and then on Sunday evening increased it more by adding a minister at large, which costs taxpayers an additional 250 million rand a year. This does not combat poverty and inequality, it compounds it, especially considering how profligate your new ministers are in pursuit of Voyager miles and luxury accommodation. You appointed the then Honourable Simelane, facing criminal charges for a dodgy loan linked to the VBS Mutual Bank scandal. As the Minister of Justice, you feigned no knowledge of this and prevaricated for months about this dilemma after you were informed, and then you shuffled her from justice to human settlements, a political maneuver to shield her from scrutiny rather than uphold accountability. This reinforces the ethos of impunity in your cabinet and your caucus. Members of your executive routinely undermine parliamentary oversight, either by failing to answer questions altogether or by submitting replies that evade substantive issues raised. The same applies to ministerial correspondence. In fact, this haughty arrogance has quickly infected your new ministers in the GNU. In fact, now they don't even respond to emails or personal WhatsApps. Not only is crime out of control in South Africa, our safety and security arms are in complete disarray, especially after the Mkhwanazi expose. During your May 25 visit to the White House, you acknowledged that South Africa's crime exceeds the government's control, an admission made in the presence of the US presidents and the glare of world media, exposing weakness on the global stage. You and your delegation basically said, "No, we don't only kill farmers in South Africa, we kill everyone." ActionSA remains gravely concerned that while discredited narratives like white genocide continue to dominate some public discourse, the real war being waged against South Africa is the unrelenting war against all who live in our country. Yesterday, we debated a report on rural crime, including farm murders, and the increasingly brutal and violent crime in rural villages, who are all the more vulnerable due to an inept, ill-equipped police force and broken rural infrastructure. These communities are, for all intents and purposes, on their own. We have the highest murder rate in the world, and the murders in our communities beggar belief, such as the murder and rape of a 100-year-old woman. 100-year-old woman.
That we can buy.
And the murder.
Honourable Trollip, just switch off the microphone of that member, please, because obviously the member is not even following the discussion. They're busy buying things. Continue, Honourable Trollip.
And then consider the brutal murder and dismembering of 14-year-old Lito Forse of Gauteng by a parolee. During the last quarter, 5,727 people were murdered. And then worse, almost, if it can be, more than 3 times that number are women and children that have been sexually violated. These victims might still have their life, but their lives are destroyed, and some wish themselves dead. Under the GNU, South Africa's economy has been unable to grow at more than 1%, lagging way behind our emerging market peers that are growing at 4%. You and your government have coined the phrase job opportunities, and you were breastbeating here this afternoon that people are flocking to our country to see how we've achieved this. Yet we have the highest unemployment and highest youth unemployment in the world. This is not the truth. The lack of growth and absence of any economic policy intervention and legislation has had a catastrophic impact on ordinary South Africans. The expanded unemployment rate has increased from 42.6% to 43.1%. So much for the GNU promises made a year ago. Despite your claims about tourism growth and logistics interventions, we continue to see key manufacturing sectors shedding jobs and closing down, increasing the ranks of the unemployed. The new 30% tariff imposition by the USA will compound this because neither you, your White House delegation, and your rejected US envoy have been able to convince President Trump that ours is not a corrupt, inappropriately aligned nation of racial discrimination. No, Mr. President, you are not following in the footsteps of President Mandela. You and your government are not combating poverty and inequality. You're increasing it. As for your budget, we cannot support it against such woeful performance. Thank you.